Good evening, everybody. Madam Roy back once again. This is going to be another one of those What's on Everybody's Mind live streams. Take 3. This will be the third one of these I've done. And the main reason I'm doing this is because it's been the most requested of all the live streams that I've done. Everybody kind of likes this free-for-all that we seem to have here. So we're going to go ahead and give it a try. This was not planned. This was spur of the moment, mainly because we went and saw, what was the name of that movie? I can't even think right now. We saw some movie before. I tell you, I hate that. Every time I get on here, my mind just like totally draws a blank. Max O'Neill. Hey, how you doing, Max? What was the name of that movie? Well, anyway, this probably wasn't the best time because I actually just finished eating and I was getting really tired, but then I said to myself, you know what? I haven't done a live stream in a week, and I promised you guys that I would try to do at least one a week, so here you go. Eric Brunhammer is here. Max O'Neill is here. 6 watchers. Awesome. I guess I caught you guys at the right time. But anyway, the movie we saw was a new Bruce Willis movie. What is with my mind right now, I don't know. Somebody out there can tell me what it's called. But basically, he becomes a vigilante after a home invasion, and his wife is killed and his daughter is severely injured. I'm not going to give it all out because I don't want there to be any spoilers in case you guys want to see it. Why can't I think of the name of that movie? Ugh! I'll tell you, my mind is like a sieve. Sometimes it works, sometimes everything just drains out, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and push on. We got 8 watchers and 3 likes. Awesome. Sam Heron finally caught a live stream. Hey, Matt. Hey, Sam. Nice to see you're here. That's what Eric Brunhammer said. That's the majority of the movies. Yeah, really is nowadays. Death Wish. Thank you. Thank you, George. Thank you. Yes, Death Wish. And it's a good movie. I have to say, I'm always a big Bruce Willis fan. I've seen all the Die Hard movies. Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Die Harder, and then Live Free, Die Hard, all of them, and all except the last one I thought were good. The last one was just kind of where they were in Russia and he met up with his son and they went to Chernobyl. Yeah, that one wasn't very good. Oh, we're down to 7. Oh no, we're up to 7 watchers. Awesome. 4 likes. Click that like button if you like this content, please. Stephen Williams. Hi, mate. Hi, Stephen. Really? Oh, Eric Brunhammer said Bruce Willis is from his hometown. Yeah, I was reading a biography about him. Apparently he was born in Germany, but he's lived most of his life here in the States. Keep getting some links here. There we go. So we're waiting for a few more people to come and question and add some questions to this. The other day I was in 7-Eleven and they gave me one of these points cards here. I don't know if you guys ever use these or not. Now, I don't buy a lot from 7-Eleven, but apparently if you get enough points, you can get like $5 or $10 worth of free merchandise. So, I don't know, maybe I'll get some coffee once in a while. Eric Brunhammer lives around the corner from his parents and met him numerous times. Oh, man, that's awesome. I would love to meet some more celebrities. The only celebrities I know personally are Ben Jones, Cooter from the Dukes of Hazzard. I've seen him and his garage band in concert. I've met Mark Summers from Double Dare, for those of you that are old enough to remember that. And I've also met Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor from the Terminator series. Those are the 3 celebrities that I've actually met. There was a time that I almost got to meet Mary Tyler Moore. She was signing her books, but my dad's truck broke down, and by the time we got there, she was signing them at a local library in her hometown of Millbrook, New York. It's where she died. That's basically where she lived until she died. By the time we got there, there were no books left, and unfortunately couldn't get to see her without a book, so that was disappointing, but, what are you going to do? That's the way life works out sometimes. We have 10 watchers and 6 likes. Awesome. And I'm not getting any more questions. There we go. Sam Herron met Peter Jackson. Oh, that's awesome. Peter Jackson from the Lord of the Rings series. That's pretty much his biggest accomplishment, I would say. And I would say that's probably enough because the Lord of the Rings series was awesome. I still like the Fellowship of the Ring the best, though. I mean, I think it got progressively worse. I liked Fellowship of the Ring. Then I liked The Two Towers. And then Return of the King was just to me. I actually like the first one the best. But isn't that the way it is with every movie? Jordan Bird. No, I have not actually seen the new Thor movie yet. I'd like to see it. I don't think it's playing in our area for some reason. Our movie theater is very weird. We have a Cinemark in our area, and it's a big theater. It's got like 16 theaters in it. But they don't always show the most recent movies. And it's not even like it's a B-rated movie theater. It's just that in my area, we're like in what they would call the boondocks of Hampton Roads. I know I'm going to get some hate from that, but Western Branch has always been called the boondocks of Hampton Roads. And the Chesapeake Square Mall area just really doesn't get a lot of business, unfortunately. That's why it's going downhill. I would say so. Max O'Neill said he's met 36 followers on Twitter. Yeah. I mean, if they're famous people, it counts. Tyler's here. Hello, Tyler. How's your day? My day is doing great. Before we went and saw Death Wish, we went out to breakfast, Dad and I. I was good. I only had my usual breakfast on Saturday, which is 2 pancakes and 2 sausage patties, so that wasn't too bad at all. Weight-wise, I'm actually down to 270. That's right. I met that I wasn't really a goal, but heck, it's only 10 pounds away from my short-term goal. Getting there, it's hard. I'm telling you, there are days that I really, really want to have something bad. Like I was craving a Dunkin' Donuts chocolate cake donut, something crazy the other day. And even though I can treat myself once in a while, I said, you know what? I'm going to hold off because I know we're going to be eating out today and then we're going to be eating out again tomorrow afternoon. But where we're going tomorrow afternoon is a Chinese restaurant, and I like it because they cook all their food fresh to order. And I get this dish called chicken and mushrooms. It's literally just chicken with fresh mushrooms, the pea pods, the Chinese pea pods, carrots, and onions. And it comes with a little bit of white rice, and it is fantastic, and it's very good for you. I mean, the only thing that may be questionable is they do use a little bit of oil when they cook it, but it is one of the best meals. And from what I understand, it's only about 400 or 500 calories, so if I limit myself to that, and then maybe I'll just drink my meal later on, I'll be okay. Did you end up purchasing those HP small form factor Core 2 Duo systems, Sam Hodgson? No. I had considered it, but in that auction, there were a lot of hidden fees. There were a buyer's premium of 10%, plus, of course, the sales tax, and that added onto the price would have made them a little bit more expensive than I would have liked. However, I did wind up buying quite a few towers the other day. I picked up 18 Dell Optiplex towers. 10 of them are Optiplex 780s. 4 or 5 were 760s, and then I think 2 of them were, one of them was a 745 and the other was a 755. And I just got that from a local seller on Craigslist, so I wound up getting 18. I got 18 towers. One of them, unfortunately, was parted out. It just wasn't worth fixing, but they're missing the hard drives, but I got a really good deal on them. I figured I paid maybe about $20 a piece for them, so I'll be busy refurbishing those in my spare time. They're not the latest and the greatest. I would have liked to have gotten some more of something like the Optiplex 790s, but you know what? At this time of year, you take what you get. And that brings me to another topic. There are different times of the year that are better for getting products like computers and whatever you do to refurbish and resell them. And generally the best time is after tax season. Like I'm talking April, late April, early May, because a lot of businesses at that point will be upgrading their computers because they'll get that money back from their taxes, the ones that don't have to shell it out, of course. And they'll go ahead and apply that to buying new products. In most cases, it's usually upgrading their computers. And, of course, the IT departments, what they'll do is they'll donate those to a thrift store, or maybe they'll sell them at auctions. So generally, when you're looking to get surplus computers, best time of the year is late April, early May. And even into the summer times a little bit. Just depends on if the IT people are dragging their feet up doing the upgrades, which some of them do. Just like anywhere. Tyler goes, quit making me hungry. I'm sorry. I like talking about food just because I can't eat it. Eric Brunhammer. I thought it was about halfway to you earlier today, but I guess it was still about 4.5 hours from you. You were in Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore is about 4 hours from my house. Maxino, good old optiplexes. I'll tell you, those optiplexes still sell, even in today's market. Those optiplex 780s, depending on what I do with them, I could probably get anywhere between $150 to $200 a piece for them. Now, granted, that's upgrading them quite a bit. Putting in 8 gigabytes of RAM, I would say at least a terabyte hard drive, and pairing them with dual monitors. So they are still very much worth picking up. Ruben's here. Hey, Ruben. I'm sorry about that in the background. I keep getting these Internet Movie Database trailer updates. I need to go ahead and turn that app off because it is driving me crazy. Sam Hodgson, he managed to upgrade the Dell Vostro 230 to 6 gigabytes of RAM. The Dell website says it only supports 4 gigabytes. He would definitely be buying another matching 4 gig stick, so he'll have a total of 8 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, that's interesting you should mention that, because a lot of the older Dell computers, the Optiplexes, the Vostros, and even some of the Dimensions, they'll say they'll only support a certain amount of memory, like 4 gigabytes, but if you do a BIOS update, they will support more. The same thing happens with the Dell Vostro 200s and the Dell Inspiron 530 and 531s, which officially only support 4 gigabytes of RAM if you look on Dell's website and Crucial. But if you get the latest BIOS update, which is usually like A12, A08, something like that, generally they'll go up to 8 gigabytes of RAM. And of course, I'm talking about DDR2 systems. DDR3 systems, when you start getting into the later Dell Dimensions, and I think the Vostro 400s started with DDR3. Those, almost all of them support 8 gigabytes natively. And then with the BIOS update, some of those will even support up to 16 gigabytes. Ruben wrote, I got a new Dell Chromebook for school. The Chromebooks are really useful, especially for repetitive tasks. You know, word processing, you can get a version of Office for those. Surfing the internet, they definitely have their place. Tyler, my first computer was an HP Pavilion 510W, and it said it only supported 512 megabytes of memory. It supported 512 megabytes of memory, even though it said it only had 256. I got you, because it was a bad board. Okay. I'm sorry. For some reason, your comment got all scrambled up, but yeah, I got the gist of that. Yeah, I vaguely remember that conversation on our Skype call about your first HP. I remember you held it up and showed it to the camera. Those systems, for whatever reason, that generation of HP always had issues with the motherboards. Same thing like with the HP 6000 series, Pavilion 6000 series. Ruben, is Windows 7 worth it? It depends on what you're going to be using it for. I'll give you an example. My Dell Vostro 200 is running Windows 7 Professional, and that's my data backup rig and virus removal rig. I like it for that purpose because it's very stable. Windows 10 is too, but for doing those kind of tasks, I find Windows 7 is just a little bit better. It's still a good operating system. Like, you can still run 90% of the applications out there with it, but in the near future, I would consider upgrading to Windows 8 or Windows 10 just for future proofing. Max O'Neill, can you get Windows keys on eBay for like £3 or yes, you can. I've talked about this before. It's called Windows scrap product keys, and they do mostly come from the UK, but I've seen them for sale from different countries too. Basically, what they do is they get computers that were scrapped, like in a crash or something, or for whatever reason the computers weren't usable, and they salvage the product keys and they'll sell them to you for pennies on the dollar, and basically you can just print them out and use them like a regular product key to activate Windows. What I'll do is I'll usually just print them out on a little label and put it on the computer, and what it's called is a Windows whatever it is 7 or 10 digital product key, and they are legal. They had a big court battle about that a few weeks ago, and yes, they are legal to do that. Okay, Eric Brunhammer, somebody asked him about what the best graphics card the Dell Optiplex 700 series could handle. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that either. It just really depends on the power supply, because mainly those came with 350 watt power supplies. Now, granted, those are conservative, so you could probably push a little bit more out of those. I probably wouldn't go with anything higher than like a GT series. Like when you get into the GTX cards, that's just going to put too much stress on the motherboard. So something like a GeForce GT 640, maybe a 660. But I would stay away from the GTX cards. That I would not trust in those motherboards. They're good motherboards, but they're not really designed to handle high-end graphics like that. Okay, yeah, Max O'Neill said he bought 12 of the keys. No, you should be fine. I've done that for a while, and I've never had any problems. Actually, I did. I'm gonna do a little bit of rebuttal here. I did have one issue. One of the product keys I bought did not work, but the seller was very good about it. He gave me a few other ones to try. They didn't work as well, and at the end he just refunded my money. But that was only once, and I think it was because he was selling them so quickly. He probably just gave out multiple ones by mistake. So don't worry about it. You should be fine. Oh, we're down to 8 watchers. Come on, let's get some more viewers here. It's really getting to be a cloudy day right now. I'm actually at the right in front of the thrift store. I try to tag where I am, and this seems to be the best place to do the live streams. I really want to start doing more from home, but you know, it's just so hard to do with my parents there, because I love my mother, but with her voice, it just carries. And half time she forgets that I'm filming. So for now, this is going to have to do. And I really don't mind doing them in the van. You know, I got a nice comfortable seat, got a big headrest right there. I can kind of take a nap while I'm doing this. Nah, I wouldn't really do that. Ruben wrote, I noticed that the NVIDIA Quattro FX 1700 is a Windows 7 ready driver. My Windows 7 Ultimate Disk has that driver for the FX 1700. Yeah, I mean, you could try them both. Generally, the driver disk usually works better, but as a backup, yeah, the Windows 7 ready driver should be fine. Max Neal goes, the video card they won went from 80 pounds to 130 thanks to the crypto miners. Yeah, if you guys don't know about that, because of the way Bitcoin's doing right now, all the cryptocurrency, people, it's shooting up, so people are buying all the graphics cards, and there is a graphics card shortage right now. I mean, you go out there, my local Best Buy is lucky to have 2 or 3 cards in at once. Luckily, I'm not a gamer, so I just stick with whatever graphics cards I have. And for those of you that don't know, I have the R7 360, the AMD R7 360 in my main rig. My Media Center PC has a Radeon HD 6670, and then my backup computer has a Radeon HD 7500 series. I think it's a 7550. They're not crazy high-end graphics cards, but for me, they get the job done. Actually, for my backup machine, I could probably just go with the integrated graphics, but unfortunately, the Vostra 200 native Intel driver doesn't play nicely with Windows 7. It'll work, but not very well. I agree. Max O'Neill says secondhand PCs are way better now for price to performance in 2018. Yeah, new PC prices are on the rise now, not just because of the graphics card shortage, but you know the shortage of hard drives. Hard drive prices have gone up. The prices of components alone have doubled in the last year or so. And that's why the secondhand PC market is so lucrative. Even the kind of PCs that I get, like the Optiplex 780s and 760s, you know, these computers are 7-8 years old now, but for the majority of users out there that are looking for a desktop to do basic tasks, they're fine. I use similar computers to, you know, write papers on, do research, watch YouTube videos. Those 780s are very capable systems. You can stream 1080p full HD content very easily with those computers as long as you have a good enough graphics card. So it's definitely worth looking into a secondhand PC if you only need it for, you know, basic tasks. Now, somebody who's going to be a gamer or somebody who's going to do like high-end video editing, 4K video editing, you're still better off buying a new PC. But, you know, it just really depends on what you're going to be using that computer for. Wow, 17 watchers. That's awesome. That shot up real quick. Yeah. Okay. Ruben said we use WeVideo for editing. I've never used that one myself. I still just use Windows Movie Maker. I'm going to use that probably until I can't anymore, at least until the new version comes out. The 2012 is the one I use, by the way. Windows Movie Maker 2012. Sam Hodgson, some Core 2 Duo CPUs like the E8400 are more powerful than new low-end Pentium processors. I'm very glad you brought that up because the E8400 Core 2 Duo is by far and away my favorite of the Core 2 Duos. They are workhorses. As a matter of fact, quite a few of the Optiplex 780s that I got actually came with the 8400. Some of them had the 7300, but most with the 84. And I actually know people that use Core 2 Duo E8400 systems still to do video editing, and they're very capable of doing that, even though they're an antiquated processor at this point. But yeah, I'm very glad you brought that up. Ruben wrote, can you do Adobe Premiere? I have used Adobe Premiere in the past, and I just don't like it. I tried Adobe Premiere, I've tried iMovie, I've tried Final Cut Pro, I've tried a few other ones that I can't remember their names right now, and I just find Windows Movie Maker works fine for my needs because I don't heavily edit my videos. My videos are fairly raw. I do edit them to a point, but all the tools I need are right there, and it is just so easy for me to use. And the less time I have to sit there and edit the videos, the more I can be out there doing things and making content for you guys. AVS Video Editor, I've used that one too. Yep. VideoPad, haven't used VideoPad. Eric Brunhammer, I tried Sony Vegas at one point and didn't like it much. Yeah. That's another one I tried to edit a video on. I was on there for about an hour, and then I said this thing is just too complicated. I still apply to the KISS rule of life. Keep it simple, and you can fill in the blank there. But for me, that just works. Whatever works best for you is what you should use. And again, it just works. So I'm gonna put that to rest. I'm done talking about video editors. Let's move on. Just waiting for some other people. Max O'Neill helped make someone make an Athlon X4 680K, 8 gigabytes RAM, 1 terabyte solid state hard drive, and an HD 7870 for 225 pounds. That's a good deal. That's a really good deal, especially with a 1 terabyte solid state hard drive. I'm surprised your budget wasn't blown on that solid state. Most 1 terabyte solid state drives here still cost at least $200-300. One right now, I'm still using the 256 gigabyte solid state drives in 2 of my computers, and I'm very happy with those. They're big enough. They carry the system files, some of my pictures, but just the majority of it's the system files. The rest I store on conventional hard drives, and that works fine for me. I can't see spending all the extra money on large SSDs. Tyler doesn't like SSD drives. He's old school. Yeah, I remember a conversation we had about those too. You've seen quite a few of them fail. Another option are the hybrid drives, the solid state hard drive. Well, the conventional hard drives with some solid state memory. Those are pretty good. I've never used one myself, but I've heard a lot of people say that they're pretty reliable. Though I still say your best bet is to get a small SSD, and for the system files, Windows, and a few maybe pictures and things. The rest, the bulk of your data, you can store on a secondary conventional hard drive. Oh, very nice. Ruben got a MacBook Pro. That is awesome. I've never actually owned a MacBook Pro. I've had plenty of iMacs in the past, but never a MacBook Pro. Okay. Yeah, Max O'Neill wanted to clarify. Yeah, I kind of figured that sounded a little odd. So yours was a hybrid drive. It was a SSD and a hard drive all in one. Tyler goes, he can hear the conventional hard drive loading, but you can't with an SSD. Yeah, I could understand that. That's kind of the nice sound. Back in the day, we always like to hear the hard drives, be able to tell if they're got any stress on them. You know, when they start getting loud and you start hearing those bearings about ready to go out, you're running frantically to back your data up because inevitably you forgot to do it the week before or the month before. Yeah, I've been there plenty of times. Eric Brunhammer, my MacBook Pro that I spent $400 on sits in its bag, and I use the $60 HP EliteBook. Yeah, I'm a PC guy too. I said I've had plenty of Macintosh products in the past. Again, mostly iMacs. I had a couple of the G5 towers. Just really didn't like them. I just don't like the interface. But that's me. I'm a creature of habit. Ooh, my radio turned on. I'm a creature of habit. We're 28 minutes, 40 seconds in. We have 15 watchers and 10 likes. Come on, click that like button if you like this. Oh, we're down to 13 watchers. We got everybody. We got people coming and going here, but I'm glad you guys were here at least for a minute. Barbara McNamara, no, you didn't miss the whole conversation. I'm going to try to do this for at least another half an hour, provided my cell phone battery holds up. I have my cheap dollar store Travelocity charger plugged in, but it's just good enough to basically keep the battery tender. In other words, keep it wherever it's at and not actually charge it. So I think we'll be okay as long as that doesn't give up the goat or whatever that term is. Ruben goes, I need an Apple Mac OS L Captain disc. Probably eBay for something like that. I don't even know. I'm sure you could probably buy them still. What is the latest one? High Sierra, I think it is. Again, you guys know I'm not a Mac person, so. Whoa! I wish you guys could see this. Somebody just went in front of me with an old Ford. A 31 Ford Model A just passed me. That's really cool. That is really cool. I haven't seen one of those in years. Ruben goes, Mark Covington should be arrived by now. Yeah. I haven't heard anything from Mark for a while. I'm sure he'll comment later on saying that I need to do another live stream for him. Mark, I love you. I love you. You are so funny. You do brighten up my day when you make those comments. I'm sure he'll see this later. That's why I'm saying it right now. Eric Brunhammer, I'm using my Amazon Basics battery backup from my phone earlier. It does output 2.1 amps. That's good. That's good. I have a one I got from Aldi, and I can't think of the name of it right now. Like a Nuon or something. It's something like that, but it also gives out 2.1 amps. And I think that one is a 5200 milliamp hour. It's a decent one. Maganon, that's it. It's a Maganon. I've had that for about a year now, and I use it off and on, and does a really good job. That was really cheap too. I don't even think I paid $15. I think it was like $12.99 or $13.99. So under $15, really good deal. Ruben wants to know if there's a vlog today. No, there is no vlog today. I did one yesterday, but creator's prerogative. When I reviewed the content, I was not happy with it, so I just scrapped it. If I'm not happy with the way something's coming out, I won't put it up there. Probably try to do one tomorrow. It just really depends. Right now, it's just been crazy around the house. If you guys haven't seen the video, Milo was a very bad boy earlier. He actually went on the counter twice, wound up knocking over my dad's cup of soda, which spilled all over him. And I actually had to give that cat a bath. That was not fun. That was unexpected. I was already tired from carrying those 18 computers in the house and cleaning them out. So I'm actually shocked I had enough energy to do this live stream, so it is what it is. Life happens, and you just got to push through. 18 watchers, 12 likes. Come on, click that like button for me. That helps me out. One thing I wanted to address while we're having a little lull in the conversation here, my weight loss. I'm getting to the point where I'm going to seriously need to consider skin removal surgery. Basically, once I lose about another 20 or 30 pounds, I'm going to really seriously look into it, because I have a lot of sagging skin around my midsection and under my arms and some other places. I'm still considering setting up a GoFundMe page. It's not something I usually like to do. I don't like asking people for money. But I want to give people the opportunity to donate whatever they can, if it's only $1 or $2. It hasn't been set up yet. This is going to be in the future. This might be 6, 7, 8 months down the road. But I want to at least put it out there right now that I'm going to be setting up a GoFundMe page for those of you that might be able to support me in getting the skin removal surgery that I am going to need. And I was hoping that I wouldn't. There was a time that I thought that maybe with all the exercise I do, I do a lot of stomach crunches, push-ups, leg lifts, basically everything to work my midsection. But unfortunately, all the years of me being morbidly obese has caused me to have a lot of sagging skin. So I just want to put that out there. You guys can comment on that if you like. I'm very open now about my weight loss. I used to be a closed book when it came to my fitness because I was in such denial about it. But now I feel that it's important to get everything out there. There's no point in beating around the bush. There's no point in hiding, what's happened to me in the past. And that's a lot to do with living in the future. And for years, I was living in my past, thinking about everything that I've done wrong. And that's no way to live. So once again, I'm going to move on from this, but if you know anybody that might be interested, I will eventually put that link to whenever I get a chance to make that GoFundMe page. Eric Brunhammer said you weren't happy with the footage you had from your vlog today either. May make it a multi-day vlog. That's always another option. I've done that many times on days where I didn't have enough footage, or I had enough footage but I had to delete a lot of it and I knew it wouldn't be enough for one vlog. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of you guys have told me you actually like the multi-day vlogs. Tyler, what do you think about the Samsung, I'm assuming Galaxy S9 phones? I'm thinking of switching, having issues with my iPhone a lot lately. You know, I really don't know a lot about them. I know that they just recently came out. I know me personally, I'm still very happy with my S7 Edge. It's still in really good shape. It's going to be paid off in the next few months, so I'll have to see what happens. I may wind up upgrading, but it isn't going to be for a while. Other than that, I really don't know enough about them. Ruben, you are a pip. You are. You're asking me about the garage sales. 4 garage sales today in Hampton Roads. Yeah, I do. I look up garage sales all the time. It's just not worth me to go to only 4 of them, and I'll only go if I notice they have the kind of things that I'm interested in. Most of the ones in the area didn't list electronics. A lot of it was like housewares and stuff like that. But don't worry. Probably in another month or 2, we're going to be getting some garage sale find videos. I know you guys love those, and I really, really enjoy filming those. Tyler goes, I am sure not going to pay $1,000 for an iPhone X or an iPhone 10. Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe they need to make that much money when it probably only costs them about $100 to make the stupid thing. Max O'Neill is heading out. Thank you for coming, and I will see you hopefully at the next live stream. Sam Hodgson, I purchased a Dell Vostro 230, very good computer. I've had many of those in the past, for £25. Came with a GeForce 9400 card. I upgraded the CPU to a quad-core Xeon for £30. Any Xeon processors are awesome. I'm quite surprised with its performance for daily tasks. It can even stream 4K. Oh yeah, with a Xeon processor, I wouldn't think any problem at all. That video card, I would think might give a little issue, but I think the CPU can take the extra load. So yeah, you got a good computer there. $80 to make an iPhone, that's ridiculous. That's hundreds of percents of markups. That's absolutely insane. No, Ruben's asking, I did not go to any garage sales this week. Tony T said, I bought a Samsung Blu-ray player for $9 at Goodwill. We get a lot of those at our thrift stores too. A lot of times they don't have the remote controls, but if you test it there and you know it works, then you can always go on eBay or Amazon and get remotes pretty cheaply. Yeah, same here. Yeah, eBay's really a good place to find stuff like that. Oh, you bought the remote off eBay. Yep. Yeah, I've actually sold remotes on eBay in the past. Right now I'm collecting them because, as I've said in previous vlogs, that as part of what I do, I've been getting VCRs and basically refurbishing them and selling them as well. And a lot of times you get a VCR that doesn't have a remote. Well, in my area, most of our thrift stores have a box full of remotes that they sell for $1 a piece. So if I go in there, I'll look through them and I'll usually pick out the Panasonics, the Sonys, the RCAs, the JVC, the main brands of VCRs that I buy. I'll pick out those remotes, bring them home, and I keep them in a box. And when I get a VCR, I can pair the remote with them and then, sell them online. And that works out really, really well. 21 watchers, 14 likes. I'm sorry if I'm not getting to everybody's comments. I'm getting a lot of questions and comments in right now, so I'm inevitably going to miss a few of them, but let's see what I can do here. It is, Eric Brunhammer goes, it's crazy that Blu-ray players are hitting thrift stores. I'll tell you why I think there's a lot of them in the thrift stores. Everybody nowadays is using Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Amazon Video. Everybody's watching things on their phones, their iPads, or they're using like the Amazon Fire Stick, the Google Chromecast. Nobody I know is actually buying Blu-ray discs, and I'm even talking about the ultra high definition UHD discs. A lot of people aren't even buying those because the players are expensive, and there's no reason to physically have that media when you could just download it or watch it online. I've actually stopped buying Blu-rays for the most part. I probably have maybe 50 to 100 Blu-rays that I've bought over the years, but I can't even think the last time I bought a Blu-ray had to have been over a year ago. I think it was probably the previous Christmas when I got a few movies from as Christmas presents. Sam Hodgson, he says, okay, you get free broken iPhones and repair them. They are fun as a project. I have so much respect for you guys that can work on iPhones and tablets and the small electronics. I can't do it. I've tried. I don't have the dexterity in my fingers to do it. That's probably why I can't play the piano either or the guitar. I've tried. I am a man of limited talents, but the things that I have, people tend to really enjoy. Jonathan Dominic wrote, I buy 4K Blu-ray movies. Yeah, I need to do that. I actually have a 4K TV, but I don't actually have a 4K Blu-ray player right now. I do stream a lot in 4K. I have a 43-inch Insignia Smart TV. It's a Roku TV, and a lot of the content I watch in 4K, I just use the Roku for. I watch it either on Netflix, again, Hulu, or one of the TV stations. I can get everything in 4K. I might get a 4K Blu-ray player in the future if the price is right. Sometimes at our local BJ's wholesale club, they discount them at like maybe $60, $70. I like that. Eric Brunhammer, he says he remembers when stereo VHS was a thing, then DVD, and then Blu-ray. It just seems too often, and I feel old. Well, join the club. I'm older than you are. That reminds me, I want to show you guys, probably do a video about this in the near future. I picked up a early to mid 80s RCA VCR, stereo VCR. I showed you guys briefly in the thrift store vlog that VCR, but I didn't really go into any details about it. I didn't even know if it worked. It turned out it actually does work. Believe it or not, the belts are fine. It works perfectly. The person who had it must have stored it in a nice like either what was it, cool dry place, because it's in immaculate condition. I was actually using it the other day to watch some videos. I'm not exactly sure the date. I'm guessing like 1984, 1985, because it doesn't have a feature to where if you're watching the tape and you push fast forward, you have to actually hold the fast forward button for it to work. As soon as you let up on it, it actually just starts playing the movie again. And I remember a lot of the top loaders of the day were like that. So probably 1984, 1985. And the thing I find that's so cool about it is it's got, not only is it stereo, it has Dolby noise reduction. And when you turn it on, it has this really cool red neon looking LED on the front. I am going to do a video about this VCR because it really warrants it. It's just so cool. And very unusual to find an old VCR like that in such good shape. Robert Blakemore. Some of the older Blu-ray players won't play modern titles because manufacturers won't update non-HDMI models, especially. I've never actually seen a non-HDMI Blu-ray player. The one I have downstairs is a Sony, one of the original Blu-ray players. It's like the BDP 1000 or 2000 series. It's from 2009. And to get updates for that, because it's not wireless, and believe it or not, it has no way to connect it to a network except for a phone line. I actually have to go to Sony's website, and I actually burn the firmware updates to a CD. And I actually just put that CD in there every once in a while, and it automatically updates it that way. But that particular player can play everything. I have brand new Blu-ray movies as of about a year ago I've put in there. It plays them just fine. So maybe that's it. If you can go, maybe you can update yours via the internet like I do. Sam Hodgson, I play the keyboard, so that helps when handling small components. That's excellent. I have upper motor body problems. It's something I've had since I was a little kid. My hand-eye coordination has always been affected. There are certain things I can't do with my fingers, like I can't really do the Vulcan, live long and prosper. I mean, I can kind of do it if I go like that, but not really. You can see my my index finger and my pinky just kind of want to separate. So it's something I have to live with. I've learned to live with it. Even my handwriting is affected. Most things I type, because my handwriting is atrocious, unless I write very, very slowly. 25 watchers and 14 likes. That is awesome, guys. I'm actually shocked. 26 that we got up this many, especially for something that was unannounced. Go ahead and give me a like. Click that. Keep those likes coming if you like it. If not, don't. That's okay too. Jonathan Dominique, he says he's never seen a Blu-ray without HDMI. Even the cheaper Magnavox players in our living room has HDMI. I remember those. Usually they only had HDMI. To me, any good Blu-ray player should have HDMI, and at the very least component too, because some of the older TVs, like the older widescreen CRT HD TVs, they only had component. A lot of people still have those, and they still have excellent pictures. It's like the Samsung one I have in the den. That's a 32-inch CRT 1080i, 1080i HD TV, and that thing still works great. I don't use it very often. I used to have my Wii hooked up to it, but I wound up selling that because I just don't play video games that much anymore. I think I got video gamed out when I was a kid. Once I hit my 30s, just kind of lost the allure for me. I feel like I'd rather do other things, go out exercising, cooking, as long as it's healthy cooking. Okay. Robert Blakemore said some had both. That's what he meant. Okay. Yeah, usually most Blu-ray players have component and HDMI on them. I think I am about done with the questions. Oh, wait a minute. Spiky 911 USA or 911 USA. I only played bowling on the Wii. Oh, man. I spent hours doing that myself. I absolutely love it. Very, very fun. Eric Brunhammer. What annoys me is when thrift stores price Blu-ray players for like $60 and more when you can buy a brand new one, like a Samsung on Amazon for $37. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you something that's probably gonna get you upset. The local thrift store here, the CHKD, ever since we got a new manager, the prices have skyrocketed. Stereo equipment that used to be $8 to $10 is now going for $25 or $30. I don't know what's going to happen. I actually made a comment to one of the workers there today about it. I was a little leery about saying it, but I said, I got to figure what's going on. And, he said I was the fifth person to complain about that because people realize the prices are going up. A simple pair of synthetic shorts they had priced $7, $6.99, which is absolutely ridiculous. I can get them. I can go next door to Rose's and get a pair for $3.99. So hopefully they realize that, because they're going to start losing a lot of sales if they don't become more realistic with their prices. Charlie Lipinski, I just got an iPad T61 and T420. Not familiar with the 420. I do remember the T61. I had one of those maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Very good laptops. Die-hard, bulletproof laptops for sure. Any of the ThinkPad series. I even will go as far to say is I like the new Lenovo's, like the one that I have right now. Granted, they're not made anywhere near as good as the old IBM ThinkPads, but they are very reliable. I've had 2 of the newer Lenovo IdeaPads. Never had issues with them at all. Jonathan Dominic said his favorite game on the Wii was Super Smash Brothers. Never really played that very much. I like the original Super Mario Brothers games. I actually like the ones for the original NES. Super Mario Brothers 3, hands down, my absolute favorite game on that system. You are absolutely right. Robert Blakemore said, you are spot on. Thrift store managers see eBay prices and price accordingly. That's exactly what they're doing. And they don't realize that in a thrift store, you cannot get eBay prices. It's just not going to happen. People that are shopping at thrift stores shop there for a reason. They're looking for a bargain. It's the same thing with garage sales. Like when you go to garage sales and people put astronomical prices on their merchandise, well, that's fine. They can do that. It's their garage sale, but they're not going to sell it because people are wise to that. Now, of course, the other end of that is there are those people that come to garage sales looking for a steal. I remember a few garage sales we had in the past. I had my computers. I put my computers out there, and I might list a Core 2 Duo system for $100 or $120, and I get people offering me $40, and I'd say, "Have a nice day." You got to have that nice happy medium when it comes to pricing. Tyler's playing Super Mario Kart right now. Yep, absolutely. I love that one. I've played all the different versions of that. The GameCube, the Wii version, and the Super Nintendo version. Probably say my favorite is probably the Wii version. The GameCube version was okay, but for some reason mine was very glitchy. Tony T, I am streaming this stream on my old Dell Latitude E6410 that I maxed out with a iCore QM at 1.73 gigahertz and 16 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gig SSD. Yeah, I've had a few of the Latitude E6410s. I like those because they were like, all metal construction. And again, they're business class systems, and you really cannot beat a business class laptop or desktop. I mean, they're just made like to last, literally to last forever. Jonathan Dominique wrote, the management in the Hampton Goodwill must not have checked eBay before pricing the Bang and Alf's Benagram TX2. I have no idea how to pronounce that I bought for $20. Too bad I didn't know how expensive a new cartridge is. Oh, yeah, that's typical. You guys hear that in the background? Hey, let me see if I can open the window real quick. It's that Model A Ford. It's got the Auga horn. I don't think I caught it in time. You might have heard that. That was so cool. That's one car that my dad has never had as like an old Model A or a Model T. He's had pretty much every other muscle car The oldest car he's ever had is that 46 Plymouth, which hopefully I can show again when the summertime comes, because that car he's actually selling and might be gone soon. I'll try to film that again before he winds up selling it. Yep. Robert Blakemore, new manager, up goes the prices, trying to make points with corporate. The funny thing about that is they're actually going to do themselves a disservice, because they think by upping the prices they're going to have higher profits, therefore make themselves look better. Far from the truth. What's going to happen is they're going to put off people. I already know 4 or 5 people, they're not even coming to this thrift store anymore because of the prices. And in turn, they're going to go ahead and actually lose money. It all has to do with volume in the thrift stores, and the workers realize this, but the managers just seem oblivious to it. These things are donated. They're designed to go in there and be sold as quickly as possible. Our CHKD thrift store will reduce the price every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, they'll reduce it by half. So, for an example, the Sony receiver they have in there now that they've priced for $25 should go down to $12.98 in 2 weeks, and at that point it might sell, but it's going to take up that valuable shelf space for 2 weeks, and they can't put other things out. So what's going to happen is the back room is going to get cluttered with merchandise they have no room for, and it's just going to sit there. So they are literally doing themselves a disservice by upping the prices, and I hope the manager is going to realize that in the near future. Spiky 911 USA. Your father's first car was a Model A. Wow. Shame you don't have it. They're actually pretty valuable right now, in good condition. Okay. He doesn't. Eric Brunhammer says he doesn't go to the family thrift center in his area. Yeah, like I've said, they're going to have to figure this out eventually. Eventually, they're going to lose money. I think it's going to be fairly quick. I think within the next month or two, they're going to notice their profits plummeting, and at that point, one of two things are going to happen. They never fire their managers here. They just move them around. So either the manager is going to move again to another thrift store, or the prices are going to get lowered. Hopefully she's not going to move, because the manager I do like. I know who this is. I'm not going to say the person's name, but I do like her. She's a very, very nice person. I just hope she realizes that she cannot keep the prices up that high, at least not in this area. Oh, I'm finally getting some more questions here. All right, there we go. Ruben goes, how is the weather in Chesapeake? Very rainy right now. As a matter of fact, it's clouding over and getting just like little droplets of rain. I wouldn't even call it, just a mist. It's just an occasional drip, but just kind of a dreary, cold day right now. That's why I figured it'd be a good time to do this. I mean, there's not really much else to do right now. Okay, yeah, this is interesting. Jonathan wrote, I've heard a lot of good things about Savers thrift stores. Too bad the closest one to here is in Woodbridge. Apparently, Savers is a for-profit store, which explains why they have good stuff. Yeah, a lot of my friends have them. Chris Kreisenman in Minnesota, I think he has one near him. What's his name? I can't think of his name. The one that collects all the Packard bells. Billy Core used to go to him. I don't know if he still has one, but he seems to get great deals. Hopefully they'll open one in our area, but I kind of doubt it, because CHKD in our area kind of has a monopoly when it comes to the thrift stores. We do have Goodwills. We have Salvation Armies. Now, the Salvation Armies I never go to. They are so expensive when it comes to anything electronic. Most of their stuff is overpriced, too. Fry is here. Finally, I'm back. Nice to see Fry here. Ruben wrote, Packard Bells are crap. Yeah. I wouldn't go down that. I wasn't going to go down that route, but yeah, I haven't had a lot of luck with Packard Bells, and I've had a lot of Packard Bells in the past. I've had some Legends. I had one very similar to the ones that Billy Core has. I had a Legend Multimedia Pro, I think it was called. I had some of the 486 ones. I do have to say that the earlier Packard Bell Legends, the 386s, and even some of the 286s were actually decently made computers. But around the Windows 3.1, Windows 95 era, when Packard Bell started using that really weird plastic case design, they just were total garbage. They had a lot of motherboard problems, and they were very hard to take apart. Billy, if you see this, please do not get angry at me for saying this. This is just my opinion. You know, a lot of you guys may like them. I just never had very good luck with Packard Bells myself. Sam Hodgson, yeah, you mentioned that I assume that you live in the UK and you don't have a lot of electronics in your charity shops. We are very lucky here in the US. A lot of other countries do not have the same opportunities we do when it comes to thrift stores. And I love what I do. I love going to thrift stores. If I couldn't get up, you know, 2-3 times a week and run around to the thrift stores and hunt for these bargains, I would not be the happy person that I am. It's just what I love doing. I've loved doing this ever since I was a little kid, and I'll probably love doing it till the day I die. George Blakely wrote, the thrift store where he lives is doing the same thing. $40 for a 5-disc changer. That is absolutely ridiculous. I went to our local, well, I should say local. It's one of the thrift stores in Virginia Beach, the CHKD. Oddly enough, the CHKD where this manager came from. And I picked up a Sony 5-disc CD changer from 1991 for $2. It was $2.98, and it was like 50% off that with all the discounts. So yeah, that's ridiculous. That's just way too expensive. But you know what? Once again, it can't stay that way for long. When the thrift stores overprice merchandise like that and they don't sell it, they're not going to be in business very long, because at the end of the day, they have to make a profit. They have to pay the rent. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Sam Hodgson, he also dislikes Acers. The components break down quickly. I have an Acer E1 laptop. The build quality is awful. My friend, I totally agree with you when it comes to Acer laptops. I bought an Acer laptop one time on Black Friday from Walmart, and you know, Black Friday computers aren't the greatest, but that computer blue screened 5 minutes after I turned it on, and it was actually in the middle of the setup process. That went right back to Walmart that same morning, and I never looked back. I would never recommend buying laptops or any kind of computers from Walmart, though. I've never had a lot of luck with their systems. I don't know if they get them refurbished, but a lot of computers I've purchased from Walmart have not worked out. Jonathan, I never knew there was a Salvation Army thrift store in Suffolk off of Main Street. Is it? You have to tell me, is it even still there anymore? Ah, okay, that makes sense. Charlie Lipinski, the Salvation Army actually rotates stock to different Salvation Armies in the USA. Yeah, the CHKDs do that too, at least the ones locally, because I kid you not, I've seen items at the CHKDs all the way down Virginia Beach that haven't sold that wind up here. And the way they do that is they have a fleet of trucks. So if something they have down there is not selling and it's something they think is worth money and it should sell, they'll just throw it on a truck after a month or so, bring it up to one of the other CHKDs like this one and put it on the shelf here and hope that it sells. Eric Brunhammer, I have an Acer laptop that I call it my crap top. It was a very cheap laptop, but somehow still works with a Pentium dual core. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a Pentium dual core. I mean, they're still decent computers. You're not going to be gaming or anything on them, but for basic tasks, even light video editing, they're still very capable. Though it's an Acer, so who was that mentioned that? I guess Sam Hodgson wouldn't like it. Michael Laforte, I tried Nix for the first time, and I assume that you love it since you gave me 3 of these. I actually went there this morning. He makes some of the best food, and I hope they never go out. The gentleman is getting older, so he may be retiring soon. But from what I understand, he's training a few of the other cooks there to hopefully take it over once he decides to retire. Great food, though. Oh, their pancakes are fantastic. I had those this morning. He actually put some real vanilla flavoring in them, and they're some of the best I've ever had. I go there on Sundays, and I get, once in a while, I get their turkey dinner. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. Though I haven't done it for a while. I haven't actually done that since I went on this lifestyle change. But hey, something to do in the future. Let's see. Fry says, I've been to Chick-fil-A. Yes, but not in a long time. I actually want to go there and do a food review of their new chicken and egg English muffin. It's a chicken and grilled piece of chicken on an English muffin with an egg. It's a breakfast sandwich. Supposedly only has something like maybe 280, 300 calories, and that would definitely be on my diet. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I might try to do that in the near future. Chris Bartlett, I only just got up and had my breakfast. It's Sunday, so I'm a bit late. That's okay, and I've said this in the past. If you don't make this live stream, you'll always have a chance to go to another one. And we are like an hour and 7 minutes. Wow, I'm having so much fun here. The time is just flying by. Let's keep it going for a little bit. I'm not in a rush to get home. It's a little after 5 right now, as long as my battery holds up, and it should be holding up. At least I hope. Well, if I get cut off abruptly, you'll know what's happened. There's something I wanted to show you guys really quickly. Oh, let's see if I can get it out here. When my parents went on their cross-country trip, they went to Texas, and I had totally forgotten they got this for me. Isn't that pretty cool? It says my name, and it says Texas. Don't mess with Texas. I think they got that in San Antonio. I need to start using that on my keychain. What do you guys think? Let's stick that on my keychain, even though my keys are full of it right now. I mean, I got the the key fob for my vehicle, and then I got the extra key for the Dodge Ram. So we'll see if I can make room for it. If not, I'll just tell them I did. But I thought that was really cool. Let's see. Okay. Isn't today Saturday? Well, it is Saturday here. I mean, I'm not sure. It might be Sunday in some parts of the world right now. Chris Bartlett was watching Milo being naughty, then saw your live, so I got here. Nice. Yeah, that video was also spur of the moment, but I had to show you guys how much of a bad boy Mr. Milo's been. And there's not really much you can do about it. He's still got that kitten in him, and he's just got to grow out of it. Hopefully he does soon, because he is driving us up the wall. Yep, it's already Sunday. Jonathan wrote, it's already Sunday in Korea, Japan, China, Australia, and New Zealand. Yep. Yeah, see, a lot of times it is. Eric Brunhammer, you should see my key ring then. Yeah, I think I remember seeing it the last time you were down here. I know you carry a lot of keys yourself. Oh yeah, daylight savings time is coming. Yeah, I can't wait. You can have a little bit more sun, because it just gets too dark too quickly here. That's why I started the live stream as soon as I did. I was afraid we were going to lose the sunlight. Eric Brunhammer, speaking of cats, Rotella has been on her meds for like 3 weeks now, and her health is really improving. I'm so glad to hear that. I have been praying for your cat. She looks so sweet, and I'd love to meet her one day. That's very good. I'm glad. I know you said she likes the way you give it to her. You kind of just rub it near her ear. That's a good way to get medicine, because cats, for the most part, will not swallow pills. I feel so bad for people that have to give cats suppositories. Okay. Yeah, I knew Billy Core was in the South. That's right. He's in North Carolina. Though, actually, for those of you that don't know, I am not originally from the South. I'm actually from the North originally. I was born in New York. I was born in upstate New York. So, I guess technically you would consider me a carpetbagger, somebody that was born in the North and moved to the South. I moved here when I was 14, though. So, technically I've been in the South longer than I have lived in the North, but I still have a lot of good feelings about my hometown, as most people do. Jonathan wrote, you talk about it getting dark too early. Try living in Germany. When I lived there in the early 90s, it'd be dark by 4:30 during the winter. Oh, no thanks. Very similar to Norway, where a lot of my ancestors were from. There were times that you'd have daylight all day long, and there were times of the year where it would be pretty much dark all day long. I remember an episode of The Adventures of Pippi Longstocking, one of the movies. Now, granted, they were in Sweden, but basically the same type of deal where it was midnight and it looked like it was 12 noon. So yes, we are very blessed where we live. Okay, I didn't know that. Eric Brunhammer said if he recalls, Billy and LGR, Lazy Game Reviews, are close together, only about 30 to 45 minutes apart, or minutes from me. I think they're a little bit further than that. I would say Billy Core is at least a couple of hours from me, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Fry goes, have you watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? Oh, years ago. Hi there, neighbor. I don't know. He was a good guy, but he just kind of freaked me out as a kid. There was something about him that I just was very off-putting, even though I found later he was an excellent human being. Robert Blakemore. No, I'm not from Rochester or Buffalo, though I do have a family that lives in Binghamton, which is not too far. I am from Putnam County. I was actually born in Westchester, a city called Mount Kisco. But the closest major city that most of you guys would probably know where I lived was Poughkeepsie. Yeah, and that was actually in Dutchess County, but that was fairly close. None of the towns that I ever lived near you would probably have ever heard of. They were very small. As a matter of fact, my hometown did not even have its own post office. We had to use the town next to us, their post office. Yeah. Yeah, about the city. John was talking about it in Germany, having the same deal to where it would still be light out at 9 p.m. during the summer. Yeah, very strange over there. It probably takes a lot to get used to that, especially if you're from here. Now, if that's what you've known your whole life, your body is acclimated to that. But somebody like me going over there, it would definitely take some getting used to. Spiky 911 USA wants to move to Florida. Ooh. If you like heat, yeah. Me personally, I love visiting Florida. I'm going to go back to Disney World and Universal this year. I would never want to live in Florida. It is just way too hot for me. Charlie Lipinski says, super stupid slow internet pausing your live stream. I'm hoping that's on your end because as far as I know, I still have good signal. Nobody else has said anything. You can always watch this in post-production too. Once they upload this, you can watch it later on too and skip through a little bit more. 35 Celsius here today, Chris Bartlett. That's got to be pretty warm. I'm not good with Celsius, but I know that that's on the warm side. Fry, have I ever watched that 70s show? Only a couple of times. Really wasn't my cup of tea. I actually just started watching Friends, which I said to myself I never would, but it's kind of funny. In the late afternoon when I'm doing my exercises, my dad usually has it on downstairs. Wow. Ruben said Pasadena, California went down to 31 degrees on February 20th. That is crazy cold for California. I know that for sure. Okay, running smooth there. Yeah, I every once in a while I know these live streams glitch, but YouTube is doing the best they can. I think they've done very well with designing the app for Android when it pertains to the live streams. 37 Celsius is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Thank you for looking that up. I knew it was hot. Yeah, that's too hot for me. As I'm losing weight, I've lost the weight. I know I can handle the heat better now. I just couldn't see myself ever liking more than 85, 90 degrees. My ideal temperature is right around the 60, 65 degree mark. Again, if you're a smaller person, you probably want it warmer than that. Barbara McNamara, Superstore is good TV show. Never heard of that one. Ruben goes, and now it's 61 degrees in your area. Oh yeah, that's perfect for me. I'm good with 61. Let's see what it is here. If my car will tell me. 50. It's actually 50 degrees here right now, so a little on the chilly side, but that's typical for this area this time of year. Sometimes it's even colder. Jonathan said it's 48 degrees right outside your house. Yeah. Where he lives compared to where I live, it's generally a little bit cooler where he is. Okay, Superstore, kind of like Walmart. Yeah, I rarely ever shop at Walmart. The only thing I was getting there for a while were my protein shakes, the Equate brand. I'm not going to do that for a while because I went to the Rite Aids around here that were closing. And I actually picked up a whole bunch of the generic Ensure and even some of the real Ensure shakes. They were all 50% off. I must have got over 200 of them now, and that'll keep me going for a while. As a matter of fact, probably going to have one of those before bed tonight. I try to have at least one Ensure a day because now that I'm not eating as much as I did before, I want to make sure that I'm still getting all the nutrients, and that's a good way to do it. The Ensure has 50% of your daily vitamin and mineral intake for an average person. So that, coupled with what I eat on a daily basis, should keep me going. And I'll need it too. Believe me, I'm actually starting to lose my voice right now. I may have to stop this in a few minutes. We'll give this a little more time. Friday, do you ever watch King of the Hill? One of my favorite cartoons of all time. I love it. I've probably seen every episode 50 times, and I'm not exaggerating. I've seen every episode quite a bit with that show. Love it. Absolutely love it. Very, very good mix of humors there. You have like the deadpan humor of Hank Hill. You have the over-the-top zealousness of Dale. You have kind of the laid-back Southern Boomhauer there. And then you have Peggy Hill, which is pretty much a combination of all three of them. And then Bobby, who's just hilarious. So, yeah, very, very well-written show. Fry, do I remember Kmart Superstores? We only ever had one in our area, and that was at First Colonial in Virginia Beach. Went there a few times, wasn't impressed. They were very overpriced, in my opinion, and I think that's probably why they didn't take off. Attention Kmart shoppers, blue light special in aisle 3. Yeah. I actually had back in the day, I wish I still had this. I found it in the trash and I used it for a little while, but you know, it's long gone now. I actually had a compact computer that was actually branded. It must have come from Kmart because right on the front of the case, there was a sticker that says this computer was a Kmart blue light special. So apparently it was probably something that they got in, maybe in limited quantity, and actually sold during those blue light specials. You guys will have to tell me if you've ever seen anything like that. I wish I still had it because I would have done a video about it. It was that cool. The computer itself was total piece of junk. It was I think it was like a 667 megahertz Celeron. Came with like 64 megabytes of RAM, and I think it had the integrated Intel graphics. I used it for maybe a couple of months, and then the motherboard went out on it. It was an Intel board from back in the day. They had a lot of problems. Eric Brunhammer, have you ever read any of the conspiracy theories about King of the Hill? No. No, I haven't. You'll have to tell me more about that when we talk next time. Haven't heard anything about that. Jonathan wrote, a Kmart in Yorktown used to be a supercenter. A few years ago, they closed down a big chunk of the store and eventually sold it to Kroger. That's the only Kmart that's on the peninsula now. Yeah, we don't even have one here anymore. They closed the local Kmart here. I think they closed the one over in the one over in Greenbrier is still open, but they've closed a lot of them in our areas. Our Sears and our Kmart in my area are totally gone. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sad to see them go. Towards the end, I hardly ever shopped at them. The only time I ever went to Kmart in our area was on Black Friday specials, and that was usually to get like blank CDs or DVDs back in the day. All right, 26 watchers, 17 likes. Come on, guys, give me some more thumbs up. I don't want to end this until I get 20 likes. Help me get to 20 likes here. Yeah, please do that. Eric, send me some of that information on Facebook Messenger. I'd really like to hear about that because that's one of my favorite shows, to be honest with you. Cartoons. Elizabeth Laforte, our son's tooth is still there. Can we get one more? Sean, get that tooth out. Sean, you need to get that tooth out, buddy. Come on. I know that can't be good as long as that's been in there. Gotta try the old school approach. What did they used to do? They used to tie the tooth with a string and the other end's like a door handle, and the person would close the door and the tooth would come out. I don't know if that actually works. My baby teeth all fell out naturally, and now a couple of my adult teeth are ready to do the same. Kmart was originally Kresge's. I don't remember that. In our areas, they were always Kmart's, to the best of my knowledge, anyway. Surprisingly, the Sears on Mercury Boulevard is still open. Yeah, that is very surprising. I think there's maybe 2 in the area. I know the one in Greenbrier Mall is still open, and there's a Sears outlet store over in off of Military Highway. Those are the only 2 that I know of. And I have not been in either of those Sears. I've never been to the outlet. I've been to the Sears in Greenbrier Mall, but it's been years, and I'm probably never gonna go. Yes, I see. I got up to 23 likes here. Oh, Mr. Jimmy's here. Do you like Home Improvement? Do I like the show, or do I like doing Home Improvement? The answer is yes to both, really. I'm not great at it. Yes, I like the show. I love Tim Allen. I think he's hilarious. And I've done my own home improvement. Minimally. I've done a lot of painting. Helped out with a little bit of demolition when we were redoing the basement in our old house, and done some spackling. Just the basics, really. I've never done any like tile work or anything like that. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. My voice is just going away. So we're going to end this. I'm going to do about another 5 minutes, and I think we're going to go ahead and call it quits for today. Chris Bartlett, Kmart is going strong here in Adeste. I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. Also Target. Yeah, it depends on your area, really. I'm not a big Target fan myself, though. I'm not going to get into why, but you guys can probably figure that out yourselves. George Blakely, what kind of music do I like? I have an eclectic taste when it comes to music. Basically means I like everything. I am not a big fan of rap music for the most part. I like old school rap. I like Technotronic. I used to listen to MC Hammer. We're talking early 90s stuff, late 80s. Yeah, Technotronic would be late 80s. I like rock and roll. I like blues. My absolute favorite musician, which may surprise some of you, I like Joni Mitchell. I absolutely love her music, everything. I was actually listening to her Court and Spark album from 1974. Beautiful voice on her. She has one of the highest, one of the highest ranges of any musician I've ever heard of. Eric Brunhammer, I heard the Sears near me is having a large sale. I need to get in there and see what they still have. Yeah, well, it's still open. I'm sure they're probably closing. It just amazes me. A big, humongous institution like Sears is on the brink of foreclosure, and they're not going to last much longer. I'd be very surprised if you still saw Sears in 2019. I think this is probably the end for them. And it is really sad, to be honest with you. It was the same thing when Circuit City closed. Now, I've worked at Best Buy, so, you know, Circuit City was our competitor, but when I was young, we used to get all our stuff from Circuit City. We never had Best Buys up in New York or even down here until they built that one. It's always sad when a once great institution crumbles, and in Sears and even in Circuit City's case, it all went down to the management. They just did not keep up with the times. All right, one more question, and then I have to go because my voice is about done. Okay, Jonathan Dominic. I'm not sure you consider Technotronic rap music. That's more European dance. I'd have to respectively disagree because I've listened to a lot of Technotronic. I personally would consider that rap. There may be other names for it, but just giving you guys some examples of what I liked back in the day. And yes, before anybody asks, I did listen to Vanilla Ice once in a while. Of course, Ice Ice Baby was really the only song worth listening to of his. All right, tubers, I am ending this live stream. My voice is about to give out. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Please continue to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.